We're back.
Yeah.
We're actually working on a little bit of this video. We actually got a request to do, so we thought we'd sit down. Thanks, Luke, for watching the video. Luke had a question about how we go about making a purchase on eBay. When we did the Halon 32 setup with Josh, we'd mentioned that we'd purchased, and that's how we do a lot of our purchases. We mentioned it before.
Spend a decent amount of money anyways, and we're actually spending less than we could by finding either secondhand gear or 2 years old gear. Like that Halon is a 2017. Actually got a pretty good deal on that, considering, and it was right out of the box that you could tell it hadn't been shot at all. And so that's kind of how we like to do things if we can. I mean, we'd prefer to buy the brand new stuff, the newest, latest, and greatest, but do you really need to do that? All right. Drive some bows. All of them.
One of the first things that you should do, especially if you're a new archer, if you've not had a lot of exposure to archery and things like that, is do some research and set some goals, and also set yourself a budget. So
That'd probably be the first thing to do. Kind of decide how much you can spend. You might need to do a little bit of research and then decide how much you might need to spend and what you're willing to spend. Because I could say I'm gonna spend $150, but that might not be realistic to be able to get a setup to go hunting.
exactly. So, like Josh says, probably number one, set a budget. And part of that research is, like he said, be realistic with your budget too. You want to have some decent stuff, but you can actually, you'll see with some of the things that we show you that you can do pretty well with spending just about half as much money as you would if you went to the store to get the flagship bow. So when you start doing your research, you're gonna run into different brands of bows, and you'll find brands of that actually command a lot more money on eBay than your average brand.
If it's the flagship,
Yeah.
versus the more lower end model.
Let me just say this: eBay has gotten a lot safer, a lot better to do business, to purchase things. I mean, that used to be the thing back in those days, was like, oh,
you had to be careful what you
just got eBayed.
Yeah. So, just as an example, I bought, I want to say 3 or 4. I don't really want to throw that number out there. 3 or 4 bows in the last 6 months, and I really haven't had an issue with anything not coming as described, or anything being damaged in shipping, or I've been pretty satisfied with all the purchases that I've made.
So as far as being mechanically sound and workable, the bows that he's purchased over the past, and that's been my experience also. And that's not to say that it can't happen. I mean, don't come after us if you buy something on eBay and it doesn't work. But it's gotten a lot better, is all I kind of wanted to say with that.
And there's other ways that you can buy bows. You can actually go to pawn shops. You can go to your dealers too. They'll have they'll have options there that are either used or a few years old. You might be able to get a deal. But what we find is with eBay, if you're patient enough, you can actually get a pretty good deal.
Exactly. So, and we'll talk about that. So what you should, I don't know, I'm scratching my armpit on camera, that's weird. What we should probably do, like I said, budget first, do some research. Now, what that entails when I say do some research,
well, what are you going to be using it for?
Exactly.
Are you going to be hunting? Are you going to be doing 3D? Are you going to be using it for deer hunting? Are you hunting from a tree stand? I mean, you need to kind of narrow it down to specifically what type of hunting or archery you're going to be doing with it.
Exactly. So once you get that in mind, you can narrow it down to some specific brands, and each bow company has different types of these types of bows. And I would hate to say, well, this is what you should find or this is what you shouldn't find. Part of actually doing this, and the fun part about this, is actually getting to know what's going to work best for you. And there's it's all out there. There's different ways to do it. And guess what? Why we're on YouTube is we've spent hours and hours consuming media, reviews, doing research for the same exact thing that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
That's a good point. One of the good media outlets for research for this kind of thing is YouTube. So you can go in there and search what type of hunting you're looking to do, and you'll get plenty of options.
So, and that's the thing. We'll see a video, and and this is how this works. Is I'll bounce stuff off Josh. I'll say, hey, did you see this video where so and so was using this type of rest? They don't even mention the rest, but I saw it and it looks different, and I want it.
Yes.
So
the search begins.
Exactly. So once you've narrowed down to what type of hunting you want to do and what type of setup is going to work for you, then what you need to do, you're going to find that, so if you start searching the latest bows, those are going to be the highest prices. When you do your research, go back a couple years and look at the last year's flagship bows, the year before that's flagship bows. Go through the specs, make sure those specs meet what you want in a bow. And then when you go to eBay, you log onto your eBay account, you go to in fact, we'll put probably put some screenshots on. You probably can't see some of this stuff, and maybe I don't want you to see some of this stuff on here. But once you get into your eBay account,
well, I would suggest once you figure out an idea of what you want to go after, give yourself a few options. Don't try to narrow yourself down to one specific type, brand, or model of bow. And if you have the ability to go somewhere and test some of these bows, a lot of the dealers will have last year's models still.
Exactly.
Like I said before, you can even buy them from them, but you can actually find them quite a bit cheaper on eBay. And we're finding right now, this time of year, when the 2020 bows just hit the line and everybody's trying to offload their last year model, it's a good time to be on eBay looking.
Exactly.
So you want to have a few options before you start really getting down to your search.
So that's a great point. Don't get married to a specific brand. And that's the thing. If you've got questions about a specific brand or a specific bow, reach out to us, comment, ask us. Most likely, we own one and or have shot one. Okay.
Or we've heard about it or watched videos on it, and we can help.
So if you've got a specific goal, you've got 3 different types of bows, 3 different brands of bows that you're looking at. And like I said, all you have to do is type that name right in the search, and maybe we'll do some screenshots so that you can see. time you search that, it'll refresh like the new listings on eBay.
So, for example, you can actually save your searches, and I've got right here, since John Dudley switched to PSE, I've got PSE Evo 35 as a saved search. I've also got Hoyt Helix Ultra, RX1 Ultra, and RX3 Ultra. So I'm looking for a longer axle-to-axle bow right now. Searches that I've saved.
So he's got that in saved searches. We'll put in screenshots so you can see what a saved search looks like or how to get to the saved search. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the types of auctions and what we like about the types of auctions and what we don't like about certain types of auctions, and the pitfalls or the things to look for when you actually say, all right, there's a bow, it's within my price range, what should I do now? So what are the different types of auctions that you've seen on eBay?
So there's the buy it now, and that's they can have a couple of different things. It can be a buy it now or starting bid. They can have a starting bid with a reserve and buy it now. They can have just a straight out bid, and sometimes they'll even have the starting bid be extremely low.
Extremely low.
What else did I miss?
Well, so along with the buy it now, sometimes they'll have make an offer.
Yes, the make an offer. I like the make an offer. It makes me feel like maybe I can bypass all that and just make a deal with the seller. And it's actually worked before.
So the last, I want to say, okay, not the last bow that I bought, but the bow before the last bow that I bought was on a make an offer. In fact, the last two bows were on make it up. Okay, now I'm giving away too much about how many bows I've bought too.
So. And now you know why we call it the sickness.
The sickness, exactly. So those three types of auctions, and maybe we'll put a graphic on this screen so that you can see those.
If you've been on eBay, you probably know all that information, but for us it's been kind of a learning curve to figure out the best way to get a good deal.
There's also stores that have inventory that they want to clean out. So a lot of these that you can find for great prices are brand new bows, or maybe floor models, or what would you call them? Demo.
A shelf model.
Shelf model demo bows, which they're perfectly sound. They're most likely maintained. So
I think my CT5 was a demo
model. So those are great opportunities to spend less money to get a high value item. So the things that you want to make sure that when you're looking through listings, make sure it's the right hand, or not necessarily the right hand.
Dexterity.
Exactly. Make sure you get the correct dexterity. Make sure that you're getting what you want as far as draw weight. Make sure that if it's a bow that doesn't have modularity or adjustability, that it's the right draw length. So
and that could be another video.
Exactly. So all I'm trying to say is double check the listing with the description. Now, if you see inconsistencies with those, my advice to you would be not to bid or buy anything that has an inconsistency with their listing and their description.
Or if it's missing something. Even recently, I've messaged sellers where their description didn't give you the whole picture. I think it was missing a draw weight. There was nowhere in the listing or in the description the draw weight of a bow. I was interested in it, looked like a pretty good deal, but so I had to message them, and they actually never messaged me back, so I don't even know.
So would you buy that?
No, I don't. I mean, you don't really know what you're getting.
So word to those that want to sell stuff on eBay, make sure you get all the information about the stuff out, or people won't buy the stuff.
Yeah. The other thing too is make sure you read the description very carefully. You might see a picture of a bow that has all the goodies on it, and they're planning to sell it as a bare bow.
No, so when you say goodies,
Rest, stabilizer, sight. Those are the main things that a bow would come with or not come with.
so pay attention in the description. There's lots of cases where they take pictures of everything loaded, like you said.
Yeah, because the guy doesn't want to take his, cannibalize his bow until he's got it sold. Maybe he's still shooting it.
So I've had that too, and that kind of actually turns me off. That kind of steers me away from buying or bidding on that type of auction. Also, is because why do you have all this stuff on? I want to see the product the way that I want to get it.
That's right.
That's just my personal preference. Okay.
Just beware of that.
I think we've talked about that now. What do you like about specific auctions?
Well, as I mentioned before, make an offer makes me feel like I have a chance to just make a deal with the seller. And what I've found is some sellers are willing to negotiate. Others are pretty firm on their price. And if you're not willing to go to their asking price, you may not be able to make a deal.
So there are some ground rules for making an offer.
That's right. So you get five chances to make an offer. And once you put an offer in, it will expire in 24 hours. So the seller has the option to let you hang for the 24 hours. And we've had that happen multiple times where we'll put an offer in and we're just kind of waiting to see if they're going to accept or reject the offer.
Which can be kind of annoying when you have, like me, when you have several other bows that fit that description that you're looking for and you're eager about, and you put in an offer and crickets.
Yeah. So it can be a little frustrating to wait, and you might be trying to work a deal with another bow, and they decide to accept your offer. In the meantime, you might have too much. Just be careful not getting too much out there, too many irons in the fire. And they also have the option to counter offer. So, and I've had that happen before where I start one here on the one end and they start here and they're not really willing to work, and we kind of counter offer back and forth and don't quite get to where we want to make a deal, and it fizzles out.
And you've got 4 offers to make that happen, or not, and that's fine as long as you set your own ground rules, right?
That's right. And that's what I found that I have to do is, this is as much as I'm going to be willing to pay for that, and don't go over it.
So
Hopefully.
now that's the make an offer. Aside from make an offer, the buy it now. What are the pluses and minuses from buy it now?
Usually the plus for me in buy it now is you don't have to go through all the hassle of trying to put a bid in, somebody outbids you, this and that, or trying to wheel and deal. You just buy it now and you're done.
Just like going to the store and buying it.
That's right. The thing that I found with that is usually you're not going to find as good of a deal that way. They're usually asking either the high of what that model is going for at the time.
So that's exactly right, and that's what I was going to say if you didn't say it. So let's move on to the bid, the straight up insanity bid.
This is where people get crazy.
Exactly. I'm going to take this one if you don't mind.
Yeah, go right ahead.
But jump in when you feel like it. In a bid, I've found that those that start their bid, the auction very low, actually end up with an end price higher than what they would expect to if they did a buy it now price. And the reason for that is just what Josh is saying. There's people out there Skyping, or like they're trying to snake something. If you get more than 5 bidders on an item, I can guarantee you there's going to be 7 or 8 last minute bids. And it happens to me all the time.
It's the thrill of the bid.
But as long as you set your price that you are not going to go over, then that's fine.
You got to stick to it.
And you gotta let those things go. Don't get caught up in that game, because you're gonna end up paying more than you wanted to, more than you probably should have. If you get into the, hey, that guy just bid, I gotta outbid him. And guess what? If you do that with too much time on the clock,
They're gonna get you.
they're gonna get you back. And you guys are gonna, all of you are gonna end up trying to pay way too much for something that you shouldn't have. Anything else about eBay? Now, eBay has gotten, like I said at the very beginning, it's gotten to be a lot safer prospect for you to go on. If you accidentally put in a bid on a wrong dexterity bow or the wrong draw weight, there are ways to retract your bid. There's also ways to message the seller. If you make a mistake, my advice to you would be early on, message that seller, let them know that you made a mistake, and retract your bid. There's specific rules to retracting your bid also.
Like I mentioned before, I'd asked a question about a bow with a draw weight, and I didn't get a reply, so I don't know that I would have been happy, or I don't know that I want to give that person my business if they're not going to take the time to give me an answer. So, that's how they build their business, keeping people satisfied. So if you get something that's not up to what the description was, then you have every right to go ahead and
Message them.
Yeah, contact them and let them know what the problem is.
Saying they build their business off of their
Reputation.
off of their reputation. What do we call it? Off of the feedback that you give. It's almost like a review of the product. You're actually reviewing the seller also. If they delayed on sending out your item, you can take down their feedback, whether it's negative or positive feedback. And that's one thing to look for also. If you're going to go on a straight out bid or even a buy it now, make sure you review if they have negative feedback. Now, there's people that aren't happy with anything out there too, so be aware of that too. When you look at the seller, I would suggest if you're paying more than $200 or $300 on an item on eBay, make sure that they've got probably more than 10 or 12 sales under their belt. And then if they have more than 10 or 12 sales under their belt, make sure that their
Feedback is positive.
their feedback is at least 90, in the 90s. I'm gonna say I'm a little bit picky. I like 98 to 99. I know that's tough, and there's sellers out there. Like I said, there's people that aren't happy with anything, but that's the way it works. Anything else to add on eBay? All right, well, like I said before, we always say at the end, comment, like, subscribe, please.
Yeah, let us know what you want to see. Hopefully you want to see something.
All right.
Peace.